guys, it's been a wee while since I've done a brew day video, but just getting myself organised to get up nice and early tomorrow morning at 6:30. Because it is going to be an early start, I didn't want to make too much noise, so I'm just doing a quick intro now. So I recently picked up this issue of Beer and Brewer. It's an Australian publication, and saw a recipe inside that I thought I'd try. But before we go any further, does this guy here look remarkably like a YouTuber from Australia that you may know? Could be your long lost brother there, Stas. But here's the recipe I'm going to be doing. So it's a coffee cream ale, and it's a recipe that's been given to the magazine by a brewery called the Grifter. And what sort of caught my eye, apart from being a cream ale, which I've never tried, is this one is going to have fresh ground coffee beans and vanilla beans added to it. So looking forward to that. So I'll just quickly run through the ingredients. So it's a mixture of Gladfield's ale, rolled oats, Munich, toffee malt, carapils. I'm going to use the Gladfield's Gladiator for that, which is the same sort of malt. Brambling Cross hops, I'm going to swap those out for East Kent Goldings because I've got some in the freezer. I don't want to go out and buy Brambling Cross just for this recipe. And I'm swapping out the yeast. They suggest WLP 080, which is a White Labs cream ale yeast blend, but because I'm doing a half batch, I don't want to be spending $15 on a yeast which is basically going to double the cost of the brew, so I'm going to swap it out for a nice clean yeast, probably US-05. So yeah, that's what I'll be doing. I'll just hold up the recipe so you can maybe have a closer look if you want to pause it. But yeah, we'll catch you guys tomorrow morning, and we'll get into the brew day. See you then. Okay, so the mash is underway. We're doing a 60-minute mash at 66 degrees. It's flowing nice and freely at the moment. I've got some oat hulls in with the grain just to help with recirculation, just because it has got those flaked or rolled oats in there. And yeah, it's looking fairly clear. A little bit of colour there, which is probably coming from the toffee malt. But I imagine when we add the coffee in at the end of the boil, it will yeah, we'll get a little bit more colour from that. But yeah, so that's the mash. We will come back in the next stage. Cheers, guys. Okay, so I finished the 60-minute mash, then I did a 10-minute mash out at 77 degrees Celsius. And now what I've done is I've just pulled the malt pipe out, got it sitting on the cake rack here, just letting all the liquid drain out. I did a no sparge again, which basically means I put in all the water I need for the brew day into the boiler at the start. And yeah, just bring the boiler up or the liquid up to a boil, and we'll be back for the next stage, which will be the first hop drop. Okay, so we've reached a boil, and I'm going to put in the first hop drop, which is 10 grams of East Kent Goldings. So we'll put that in now. Start the stopwatch. Now the recipe actually called for Brambling Cross, but I had some East Kent Goldings in the freezer anyway, so sorry about that, Ant. No Brambling Cross in this recipe. So we'll let that do its thing, and then we've just got one other hop drop to do at 10 minutes, and that's another 20 grams of East Kent Goldings. So we'll be back for that. Cheers, guys. Okay, so we're coming up to 10 minutes from the end of the boil, so I'm going to add in the second and last hop drop. So it's 20 grams of East Kent Goldings and half a Werflock tablet. So we will pop that in there. And then once that's done, we're going to be adding in the coffee. So this is the coffee I'm going to be using. So it's a Ethiopian Guatemalan blend. So these are whole beans roasted on 24th of April that ground up. So there's 100 grams in there ready to go in, so we'll come back when we come to that stage. But yeah, any good quality fresh coffee bean that you like will do the trick, so see you shortly. Okay, so we're just about at the end of a 60-minute boil, so I'm going to add in the 100 grams of coarsely ground coffee beans, and then we'll turn off the boiler and we'll let that sit, I don't know, probably for about 10 minutes or so, just to get the coffee flavour in. So let's get that coffee. So I'm using a hop spider here because I want to keep the grounds, or the coffee grounds out of the actual liquid, because you don't want that transferring through into your fermenter. So if you didn't use this, you could use something like a sanitized cloth or stocking, or something that's not going to let the coffee grinds get into the liquid. So we'll let that sit for 10 minutes. We'll probably come back once I cool the liquid down and we do the transfer. Cheers guys! Just thought I'd show you the hop spider and coffee grounds inside. So it looks like it's done a good job of keeping them in there. Hopefully not too many have escaped. There's a pretty fine mesh on there, but we'll see in a minute when we check out the hydro sample. So yeah, just cooling the wort down. Put the old temperature probe back in just so I can see how the chilling's going. But I can definitely smell the coffee coming off the top there. So yeah, keen to see what the final colour in the hydro sample is, and we'll do a bit of a taste test. So yeah, looking forward to that. Okay, transfer's underway, as you can probably see. So it's looking pretty clear. Okay, looks like we got 10 litres. Had to weigh it because unfortunately the markings only start at 15 litres on here, but the old scales come in handy. So I've pitched the USA 5, just done the old snip and tip, sprinkled it onto the foam there. Plenty of yeast because it's full packet and a half batch. So that's job done. We'll get this closed up and into the fermentation chamber, and then we'll be back for the wrap up. Cheers. Okay, so we're back into brew day. Here is the sample here. So it came out at 1048, so it should give me about a 5% beer. Not sure if that colour's showing up, but it's a light brown, but almost from this angle it looks slightly orange, got an orange tinge to it, which is almost certainly come from the coffee combined with the toffee malt. But anyway, let's get a smell on it, and I'm happy to say straight away I can smell the coffee off the top. It's definitely there, but it's not like super dominant, which is good, because I guess one of the concerns with coffee is you put too much in and basically that's all you can end up tasting. But having said that, let's have a little taste of the sample. It's good. Definitely getting a real nice hit of fresh coffee in the taste there. But once again, it's a good level. It's definitely there, but you can also taste the malt as well. So hopefully the finished beer comes out quite balanced. I was happy with that. Bitterness was quite low in the recipe. I think I ended up going for about 15 or 16 IBUs. I think the recipe had about 12, so a little bit higher, but just a touch of bitterness, but nothing to write home about. But very happy with that sample. So hopefully the finished beer will come out with a nice creamy sort of texture and mouthfeel and head from the gladiator / carapils and the flaked oats. So that's the plan. And the only other thing I have to mention is the vanilla pods. So they get added into the fermenter for 2 to 3 days. Looks like towards the end of fermentation. So it just says to chop vanilla beans and cover with vodka for 2 days. This will form a vanilla syrup-like extract. When ready, add this to your fermenter, but don't stir through. Allow 2 to 3 days before you bottle or keg. So recipe calls for 3, but I might go for 2 beans. So yeah, that's the brew day done and dusted. I'll try and maybe do a couple of still screenshots of the recipe for anyone that's interested, for a full batch obviously. And that's it. We'll see you in, I don't know, 3 weeks or so. Oh, actually might be a bit longer than that, maybe 3 to 4 weeks before the beer's ready to drink, and we'll definitely do a taste test. So until then, enjoy your weekend, and we'll catch you then. Thanks for watching, guys. Appreciate it. Over and out.